Hi everyone, TI Mindy here. I hope everyone is doing well. I've decided I'm going to post short, targeted individual stories that I've experienced being a lifelong TI rather than reciting my testimony, as I'm finding my testimony is too vast and overwhelming since it spans over 6 decades, especially for someone currently healing from lifelong psychological trauma caused by spiritual warfare. Healing is a process, as many of you are aware. So today I'd like to explain how each TI has a written program designed specifically for them. When you are placed into the program, they will begin studying you and everything about you. They do this covertly. TIs are also placed on the list. It's a terrorist watch list. So you are basically now blacklisted and illegally monitored and followed everywhere you go. And they will watch everything you do. They will watch you via your phone, cameras, people, bugs, birds, drones, boats, airplanes, helicopters, you name it, they'll use it. That's what they do with me. This, I believe, was done because of the bloodline I carry and I was born into. I was born into a family heavily involved in Freemasonry. So myself, my father, and now my son are targets. I am the generational curse breaker. Anyways, once they have you thoroughly studied, they plot and plan and create a program designed just for you. They will then begin to send people who will mirror you and befriend you. They are the honeypots, and their job is to help to depress your light and bring you down. Remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities of the ruler of darkness who runs this world. Everything they do is to weaken and depress your light. They're trying to lower your energy. They're after your soul. So remember, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So something else they'll do is directed conversations, and that's done to upset you. For example, recently when I traveled, I stopped at a gas station and to get gas, and in the convenience store, the woman gave me a nasty look at first when I entered, but when I was paying, I said good morning anyway. And then she proceeded to tell me how much she loves sitting outside in the morning, drinking her coffee, watching the birds, and how peaceful it is. So that's something that I do. So that was trying to upset me, for me to say, how do these strangers, know what I'm doing in my private time. So that's just one example of how they use their illegal surveillance against you. Another thing they do is I lost my Jeep because of them. They were tampering with it. They did many things to it over the years. I even had to evict mice from it at one point. Another time when I was visiting my son at college and it was parked in a hotel parking lot, they punctured the tire and the oil pan. So I had to deal with that before driving back from Iowa to Florida. I thought at the time that it was my ex-husband, and he wanted a reaction out of me and upset me, so I didn't say anything. But now I realize it was, well, he's in part of the program, but it was all part of the program that I didn't know I was in at the time. So they eventually destroyed my Jeep. I needed to get a new engine, and then I lost that about almost 2 years ago. So now my gang stalkers, many of them drive brand new white Jeeps like mine. In fact, my Santa Claus stalker, next door neighbor at the last house I lived, He was the criminal disabled veteran. He had told me that he couldn't drive. He was unable to drive a vehicle. He could only drive a motorcycle, which is why he only had a motorcycle to drive, because he had this disease that caused vertigo and he couldn't drive. So a few months later, he gets a brand new white Jeep, just like I had. And so, yeah, they do stuff like that. Again, it was done to upset me and to either get me to act out or lower my vibration, I guess. They also will use clothing and hats to express something I recently watched or spoke about, to show that they illegally watch and listen to what I say. Again, it's to disrupt your energy and frequency, and it's also done to drive you crazy and get you committed. Because if you start speaking out about what you're seeing and hearing, or start acting out in anger over the injustice of it all, they'll have you put in jail or committed. They also use stickers on their car and license plate messaging. I recently saw a black hearse that said "Time is running out" in large letters, meant to induce fear. I've seen 7 hearses in the last month and a half, I think, and I hadn't seen any for many, many years. That's a new tactic they started using. They also use stickers on their cars about things I like or I'm into. I get mostly black and white cars because of the Mason involvement. I also get red and black cars and clothes because they mean sacrifice and death. I get gray and blue frequently as well. So this is all due to spiritual warfare and me being the generational curse breaker. So if you're experiencing any of this, just try to stay strong. They want you to react. They want you to be broken down. They want you to be upset. They want your energy to be low, because then their witchcraft works. If you stay vibrating high and they can't, their witchcraft won't work on you. Also, you need to seek God and repent. I found that I had, when my Jeep was being vandalized back then, I was cursing and smoking some weed and vaping, and I had demon doors open, so I believe that's what was causing them to be able to do extra stuff to me. And I found that since I've closed all those demon doors and walked fairly straight and narrow, the worst they've done to my car is put down the visor to show they've been in there, move something, and they key it, but they haven't done anything. So I pray that they don't. And I read Psalms 91, protection, I stay close to God. So I just wanted to give you those tips. I also fast and try to eat clean, and I just keep praying that this all stops, this gang stalking, and people can live in peace and love as God has intended. So stay strong, TIs, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.